What we're going to go over here is how you take your data from the lab on your birds and get that into Excel so you can do yourself a nice graph rather quickly. So when you reach number 14, you're going to enter all of your data about your 3 different birds into this data chart, and then what you're going to do is you're going to open Excel. So somewhere on the computer you've got the icon for Excel or Open Office Excel. You'll choose blank workbook, and all you need to do is on then your Google Doc is highlight all of this information here in your chart, copy it, and then we're going to move that over to Excel. So I did a copy through Control C, or you can right click and do a copy. Then we're going to do a paste. So I'm doing Control V. Now I've got all of my data from my Google Sheet. Now this is the way I go about doing it. I find it easiest. If you understand Excel, feel free to go through and do it how you'd like, just as long as we get a nice graph in the end. So I click outside of my data. I'm going to go up here to the top and click Insert. And what I actually want is I want a scatter plot. So these lines right here. I'm going to bring this down, and I'm going to want a scatter plot with a curved line. So you'll see here, because we didn't choose any of the data over here, we've got a blank graph. This allows me to choose what I want versus the computer thinking what I want. So on this here, once I'm over that graph, I click with my right button on my mouse, and I'm going to come down here to select data. So it's going to open up this window here for me. So here it says Chart Data Range. Once I've chosen all of my numbers here, you'll see I have data series 1, 2, and 3. And here are my numbers over here. Now what I want to do is I don't want this to say series 1, so while this is highlighted, I'll click Edit. I'll click my name, Birds 1, and now that has been replaced with Bird 1. So I'll go to series 2, click Edit, Bird 2, and then series 3, or again I'll click Edit and do Bird 3. Now I'm going to have those in my legend, which will be nice and easy. So I can click OK. So here's my data. It's already been graphed for me, but you'll notice we have a poor title here. So all you can do is just click on the title. And I won't give anything away. I'll just title mine a good title. You'll notice that I'm missing labels on my axes. So if I come up to the plus sign, when I click on that, I can then add axes titles. Once this is done, I can click here. Now, again, I'm not going to give you actually what you should put here, so I'll just call that the data that's collected. And my axes down here, so we'll put good axes title. So make sure those are done correctly, and you make sure to have your units. So we have these nice trends. Here I have that data collected. Here I have good axes. I have a good title. You'll notice then that I'm missing my legend. So really all I have to do is click here. You'll see that there's a legend choice, and now I've got my legend. So here I have bird 1, 2, and 3. Even if you want to move this a little bit by hand, you can do that, and it's moved it up a bit. We will have a slight issue. If we print these out, it will be in black and white. We won't have these colors. So by having all dots here, I really can't tell the difference in my line. So if I want, I can come to the second line and highlight that second line. I can right click. At that point in time, I can choose Format Data Series, and I get this fun little option over here. If I pull up the little paint can, you'll notice here underneath Marker, and on Marker Options, we want to click Built In. I now can choose between all these different shapes, so I just want to make sure I have different shapes amongst all my lines. So here I think I'm going to choose a triangle. I can even bump the size up so it looks a little bit better. You'll now see that I have triangles on my data. I have dots on my data here. So now all you need to do is continue and do the same thing for your gray line and choose some other kind of choice as far as the shape of the data points. So you probably don't want to pick an X. You want to pick something that's going to show up. You don't want things to be similar. So I'll kind of do the star. Again, I'll make it a little bit bigger. And that is then going to give me something different. I also don't like the gray, so again, if you would like, you can choose that. And if you choose your line, here's color. If we want to go with something kind of orangish, we could, nope, we already have orange. If I want to do like bright red, I can choose bright red. If I go to my marker point, I can choose that bright red again. So now, again, it's gone through and already changed what that is. If we want to make this a bit bigger, if you hold on the corner and you hold shift and move, it keeps its aspect ratio. Now we have this nice graph. I've got my legend, I've got title, I've got a good title across the top. I have my 3 lines. If I right click, I can copy this, go back to my Google Doc, and under number 15, all I have to do is hit paste. And right there then is your graph. It's in your lab report, nice and neat for everybody to do. So that's how to go through and use Excel to make your graph for your lab.